Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and welcome to the success story session. In front of us and with us today, we have Mr. Abhay, who is a very inspiring youth who has cleared the RBI Grade B in this attempt, that is in 2022. Let us know about his journey and let us know about his story. Let me tell you that he is a working aspirant and he has cleared the RBI Grade B while working in SBI. So let us know that how he juggled between the work and his preparation and how he was able to clear the RBI Grade B while working. So first of all, heartiest congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot. And I would like to thank the entire EduTap team for making my dream come true of getting selected in RBI Grade B exam.
That is so kind of you, sir. Thank you so much. And now the aspirants must be willing to know, they must be like curious to know about your education background and how you came to start working in the SBI.
Ma'am, I did my graduation in BCom Honors from Sri Ram College of Commerce, Delhi University in the year 2017. And in my final year of my graduation, I was aspiring to do an MBA from a reputed college in India. But after a couple of attempts, I couldn't get the desired college, and after that, I was quite demotivated that I have a college dropout of 2 years, and I wasn't getting a job. Neither I was pursuing masters. So at that point of time, I began to explore other options. So at that point of time, the SBI PO notification was around the corner. So I gave that exam, and I was able to clear that exam in my first attempt. And but after coming to SBI, I started to explore other options that where I can go at a higher level. So it was at that point of time that I realized that there is an exam called RBI Grade B, and so I began my preparation after a couple of months after joining the State Bank of India.
So that is quite like new that after SBI, like after clearing the SBI, you were able to know about the RBI only. So you
Yes,
started your preparation after like joining in the organization. So how are
yes,
you
ma'am.
able to manage like between the work, like the work is also very hectic as well as like the preparation also. How are you able to manage that?
Ma'am, like I told that I wasn't much satisfied after I joined the State Bank of India because of many reasons. And so when I got to know about the RBI Grade B exam, that it is one of the reputed exam all over India.
Hmm.
So after I joined a couple of months, I was kind of self-motivated. Rather than any external motivation, I was internally motivated that I have to crack that exam. So I began just after 2 months of joining State Bank of India. Although it was quite difficult in the beginning, but once I started preparing, I kept on going on, and I was able to manage my time after coming home. I used to avoid any distraction from any other sources or any social media. So this was my main source of motivation, and I was around. I continued, and so I was able to clear the exam.
So after joining the organization SBI only, you came to know about the RBI. You started preparing for the RBI and you managed to crack the exam RBI Grade B while
Yes,
working.
ma'am.
That is a big motivation for the aspirants and for the people out there that are trying to prepare for the examination while working. Now,
Yes.
how many hours of the preparation of the studies did you put in daily, I can say?
Ma'am, initially when I started in 2020, so my main aim was to give at least a couple of hours
Hmm.
per day on a consistent basis. So initially in probation period, you get ample of time. So I was getting time, so that was not a major problem. But around the time when the exam was closed, my first attempt, so I started to give around 3 to 4 hours on a daily basis, and I used to devote 6 to 7 hours in the weekends. So that was how I prepared for the exam.
So it was, we can say that it is the self motivation that you have, the inner motivation that is coming, as well as the dedication of yours, consistency of yours that was able to lead you to become the RBI Grade B officer.
Yeah, right, ma'am.
So that is really nice to hear that after like the job, the preparation, you juggled between both and you were able to clear the exam. So now I think we can move to the strategy part and we can start with the phase one. So coming to the GA is considered as the toughest and it has the most weightage in the phase one and it is the toughest we can say because like too many facts to remember. So how are you able to manage that part?
Ma'am, when I got to know about the RBI syllabus, I knew in my mind that GA is going to be the main content of the exam, be it phase one or phase two. So initially, when I gave my first attempt last year, so I started to prepare the GK from my Affairs Cloud section. But at that point of time, I was mainly focusing on the monthly PDFs rather than on revising them on a daily basis. And last year the exam was quite surprising. It was quite difficult. So last year I couldn't clear the phase one exam, but after giving the phase one exam last year, I realized that my strategy was not right for the exam. So second time I started from scratch and I prepared GK on a daily basis and then revising the same on weekends. So I used to do GK on a daily basis from Affairs Cloud, and apart from that I used to revise them on a weekly basis. And apart from that, from GA I also used to watch EduTap videos which from the YouTube source. So that was also quite helpful because that helped me to revise even more and to prepare the content which was not available in Affairs Cloud. So that's how I prepared for the GA section for phase one.
Okay, so we can say that from your first attempt, you were able to understand that, okay, it is not going to, like, the monthly PDFs are not going to benefit much if you are only reading it once or twice. So you started
Yes, ma'am.
preparing on the daily basis for this attempt. And like revision is also a very important component when it comes to GA. So you revised on the weekends. How many times of revision do you think is necessary for the GA?
Ma'am, it kind of depends. For me, apart from preparing GK on a daily basis, I used to prepare notes in the weekly PDFs. So I had prepared a handwritten notes from daily basis, which the content was not available in weekly PDF. So that used to take some time on the weekends. But after I got to prepare that part, so I think 2 or 3 times revision is enough,
Okay.
especially at the time of just before the exam. That is very important. That past 1 month, you how much you are revising, that is going to make you clear the exam.
Yeah. And now coming to the months of general awareness that you did. So you did 6 months, 12 months, or how many months of the GA?
Ma'am, although when I started to prepare for my second attempt, I started around 8 months back from the exam. So I would say that 8 months PDF or GK is important for phase one, but the most important part is last 6 months. The majority of the questions comes from 6 months.
Okay, that is quite good that you have to focus in depth on the 6 months, but
Yes,
you should go like beyond that also and do some
yes, ma'am.
parts of 8 months. Okay, so I think we are quite clear with the GA as well as the main thing is that you made your notes, you focused like on the daily practice also, and you were watching videos also, so you were able to grasp more. And now coming to the mock test. So like did you for the revision, did you prefer them also, mock test and
Yes,
such?
ma'am. I gave mock test, started giving mock test when the notification was out.
Okay.
So after the notification was out, I used to give mocks around two to regularly in 2 to 3 days. So I gave around 10 to 15 mocks for phase one before the exam.
Okay. So now I think we can come to the quant reasoning and English. Now you are from the CAT background, so I can understand that that will be the easier part, but still something about that.
Ma'am, what I realized after giving 4 attempts of RBI, that the paper that the questions that comes in, especially in quant, they ask that how much strong is your base in mathematics, rather than asking some difficult question. They ask us basic question, but they are kind of twisted.
Hmm.
So they require a little time. You cannot solve them in a very short period of time. And when we see the cutoff of the phase one for quant, it was just 4 marks.
Hmm.
So I was clear that once the notification was out, I will prepare the basics of what actually is asked in the exam. So I used to watch the YouTube videos of EduTap or any other course. So that helped me to revise. And plus, ma'am, since I cleared the SBI PO exam also, and I have also prepared for CAT, so that wasn't much of a difficult part.
Okay. And like the reasoning and English, similar for that also.
Yes, ma'am. Reasoning and answering was similar also. I started preparing for the content reasoning after the notification was out because I knew that I will be able to clear through the cutoff.
Hmm.
So it was not much of a difficulty for me to prepare content reasoning.
I think the marks are out. So can you share regarding the marks if you are comfortable?
Yes, ma'am. In my phase one, I scored around 77 marks, 76 or 77.
Okay.
And in phase two, the total marks after taking into view the interview marks were around 235.5.
Okay.
And in phase two, I scored 171.75 marks. No, sorry, 176.75.
Okay. And so we can say in interview you were able to get more than 60?
Yeah. No, no, I'm interview. I scored 58 marks.
58, yeah. Around 60. So
Yeah.
that is also quite good, like 58. But that we will come like when we were talking, we will talk about the interview. But that is also quite like good marks, we can say. So now we can start with the phase two. And starting with phase two, let's discuss about the English first. So English descriptive, did you practice for that or you were comfortable that I will be able to do this?
Ma'am, since my education right from the starting was in English medium, so being descriptive part was not much difficult for me. Because I had an habit of drafting anything which came in my mind. I used to write it on the paper. So drafting was not a problem for me. So for English, I didn't prepare much. I didn't practice much, but I used to read a lot to get more and more content about general things. So this was my strategy in English. And but after the phase one result was out, I went for a couple of descriptive question. I wrote them in English so that I can get a flow idea about the exam.
Okay. Now you talked about the reading. So do you mean the editorials that come in the newspaper or something else?
Anything like editorials that come in the newspaper, because in English you can't predict what essay or question they are going to ask you, because there is no fixed syllabus.
Hmm.
So having knowledge, overall awareness about what is happening in India as well as in the world gives you ideas. So once you have those ideas in mind, you can just write it down on the paper, and you're just
Good to go.
have a good content. It's important that in English you have a good content with yourself. Yes, ma'am.
True. And can you share that in which pattern did you follow? Like first you did essay or RC or Pressy?
Ma'am, first of all, I did RC because my strategy was that RC is going to take a bit time, because I have to read it once or
Hmm.
twice, and I have to write it referring to the passage again and again. Because in essay you just have to write it down what comes in your mind, but in passage RC you have to refer the passage again and again. So
Yeah.
RC was my first question that I did, and after that I went for the essay part, because it was quite questions were quite easy, and last was the Pressy, which was quite difficult to analyze, and what were the passage was talking about. So this
Okay.
was my strategy.
And you were able to stick with the word limit?
Uh, yes, ma'am. Not completely, but I remember that around 70 to 80% I was able to write
Stick.
in. In English. In essay, I think I wrote around 480 or 500 words out of 600. But in management and ESI part, I was able to go through the limit.
Okay, that is good. So now I think we can move to the ESI part. Now, first question that comes in the mind is that you were preparing for the GA and ESI together, or you started the preparation of ESI after phase two?
No, ma'am. I would say that you can't start the ESA preparation after phase one. So my strategy was that when I was preparing the GA content on a daily basis, and so my strategy was that you have to choose the content which is actually important for the phase two also.
Hmm.
And at that point of time, the phase two, the course which I have taken from EduTap was quite useful, especially the schemes part was quite. The material was quite sufficient, and if you are able to read that material, I think that is more than sufficient. So my ESI preparation started just when I was started preparing for the phase one. So it was not like that just 2 or months back, once a notification is out that I will prepare for ESI. It was going hand to hand with
Okay.
phase one.
So you should not wait for the starting of the preparation of the ESI that after phase one I will start that. No, you do not have that much time. So from GA itself, because GA and ESI go hand in hand, so you should start your preparation from there only. And for like phase two, did you rely completely on EduTap only?
Yes, ma'am. My major source of content for ESI for phase two was that EduTap course only. But side by side, since I was preparing for a Fair Cloud also, I was also getting a part of content from there also. So
Okay.
these two were my important sources.
Okay. So now coming to the ESI, how many months of ESI did you do? Means the current affairs for ESI.
ESI syllabus is quite vast. They ask schemes from around 10 years back also. And I remember they asked a question on scheme which was launched in the year 2018. So 2008, sorry. So it's not possible that you can cover that also. But
Mm,
you have to do above average than other students. So my strategy was that I have to prepare the schemes part and ESI part for past 8 months or 6 or 8 months properly.
mm,
Because the majority of the question I will see that they are going to be asked from that current affairs only. There are going to be few questions that are going to be asked from past also, but that are not going to make much difference. Although they will make you stand in clearing cutoff in a uh, big margin, but my strategy was that I have to focus on for a period of 6 to 8 months because I was working in State Bank of India,
mm.
so I was not getting much time to go through each and every scheme that were launched very before ago.
That is true. So for the ESI descriptive part, you were comfortable with the typing and you were comfortable with like writings.
Yes, ma'am. I was
Okay.
comfortable.
And did you face any problem with the interface or you find it fine?
Intervals, I didn't face any such problem. Since I gave SBA PO exam, there was also some descriptive part in English. So I
Okay.
knew that how the interface is going to be. So that wasn't much of a problem.
Okay. Did you give like particular mocks for the ESI or you didn't practice much?
For descriptive part, ma'am, I gave a couple of mocks, around 3 or 4 mocks after phase one was declared. Because when you give a right descriptive part,
Mm,
after phase one is cleared, you cannot practice much because the main focus is on revision. So after, before phase one, you can prepare and write descriptive questions. But after the phase one result were out, I just went for 3 or 4 descriptive so that I can uh, write down my ideas as quickly as possible on a paper.
true. So now I think we can move to the finance and management part. Can you tell the source of the finance and management?
Ma'am, source was completely EduTap. It was one of the best sources, especially for FM, I would say.
That is really
So
nice. Nice to hear. And like, how did you prepare for that, and how did you revise majorly when you had the content? So how did you like prepare that? How did you revise that?
when I watched the videos related to strategy from EduTap, I got to know that management part is entirely static.
Hmm,
So it is going to benefit you a lot if you prepare that as early as possible.
hmm,
So I prepared the management part last year in the month of October or November. It took me around 20 to 25 days.
hmm.
I watched the videos of the EduTap, and from the PDFs and the summary sheets, I prepared my own notes. So it's very important that you prepare the FM static part as soon as possible because it will give you a lot of time to revise it again and again. So
Yes,
I prepared notes from the content that was available on EduTap, and I once I was done with that, then I shifted my focus of finance, especially because finance is mainly current affairs related. So
yes.
after that, once the static part was done, then along with the phase one and phase two GA content, I was doing the finance part also.
Okay. And how did you find the descriptive questions of FM? Were like according to you they were easy or
Um,
moderate?
for management, they were easy. They were quite straightforward. What was mentioned in the syllabus in the notification, the questions were directly from there. And from finance, the questions, the kind of question they asked, they were mainly your awareness related, how much you are aware. Because I remember that there was one question on LTRO,
Yes.
long term repo option. So I haven't specifically read that topic, but I had an idea because I used to watch EduTap videos and other videos as well about what is happening around what happened in the COVID period. So I had an idea about what LTRO is about.
Hmm.
So in examination, I was able to write that question. So in finance, you have to be ready that apart from that. one question was directly from the syllabus that the response of India after 2008 global financial crisis.
Yeah.
But one of the like LTRO question was general awareness type. So you have to prepare the both syllabus part what is mentioned as well as the awareness,
Yes,
general
there
awareness.
was one question from financial stability report or something like that also. So that is also from general awareness. So yeah, the notifications, or we can say the RBI website, is also very important when it comes to
Yeah,
finance part.
yes. Yes.
So I think now we can move to the interview part, and like starting with the interview, how was the panel first of all?
Ma'am, in my panel there were around 5 members, and there was one chairman was sitting in the middle, and there was one lady also, and so total there were 5 panelists in my panel.
Okay. And what kind of questions did they ask, like from your biodata mainly or technical questions?
Ma'am, mainly they were the chairman of the board started with my profile that I did my graduation from this college. So what was your major achievement as a commerce graduate? And then they asked about the World Trade Organization,
Hmm.
what is India's stance, and after that when other people asked, so they started asking about my profile. So the majority of the part I would say that it was profile oriented.
Okay. And were there any questions from the hobbies or the like achievements or something?
Yes, ma'am. I have mentioned my hobby as table tennis, playing table tennis. So at that point of time, Commonwealth Games were going on.
Hmm.
So they asked questions from that, from my hobbies.
Okay, that is really nice. And like, how did you feel after the interview? That it went well, or you were like nervous or something?
Ma'am, since I given mock interviews on EduTap, which was quite helpful, they gave me insight about what all you are lacking and what all you can prepare. So that was quite helpful for me. And on that strategy, and plus, ma'am, I didn't have much time for the interview. My interview was during the early days when
Hmm.
the panel started to take interviews. So my strategy was just to prepare about your profile and about your biodata, and since I gave mock interviews, they went quite well according to me. But in interview, they asked quite unexpected questions, which were not related to my area. So
Hmm.
although few questions I couldn't answer, I straight away tell that I have no idea about this. But the questions which I knew about myself and about my job profile, I was able to answer those questions.
Okay, that is really nice. Now we are at the end of the interview. So, any message for the aspirants out there that are working, or for the other new aspirants?
Ma'am, especially since I am a working aspirant, so I would say that just say that if you are working and you are not getting time, then you have to be self motivated that why you exactly want to clear the exam. And since you are working, if you are devoting some hours like 4 to 5 hours per day, but after that you are taking a week break, then you are not studying, that is going to help you. You have to be consistent on a regular basis. For example, sometimes I used to come around 8 o'clock from the bank, so I didn't used to think that my 2 hours or 1 hour is already gone. I used to focus on what amount of time is left for the day. So I used to study for half an hour, but I there was hardly any day that I didn't study. So be consistent. This exam just requires consistency, nothing else.
That is so
So
true.
that's
Thank you so much, Abhay sir, for coming.
thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir.